Once upon a time, there was a great monk who was taking his last breaths. Before dying, he called his young disciple, the one he had appointed as his successor. He said, "Always remember one thing, never let a cat enter your life." Saying these last words, the master breathed his final breath and left this world. A large number of people were present to hear the great monk's final words and testament. Everyone was astonished at such an unusual will. Even the young successor kept wondering, why should I never let a cat enter my life? What could this mean? Why would my master say such a thing at the moment of death? The master's funeral rites were performed with deep respect. Yet the young monk remained disturbed, unable to understand the meaning of those last words. In the same monastery lived an old monk who had spent many years with the master and had closely observed his life. Though he was wise, his old age and frail health were the reason he was never chosen as the successor. When he noticed that the young monk had been troubled and lost in thought for many days, he came to him and asked, "Why are you so distressed?" The young monk told him everything, that before dying, the master had said, "Never let a cat into your life," and he could not understand its meaning. The old monk smiled gently and said, "My friend, perhaps you don't know, but behind this lies a long story." And so, the old monk began to narrate. A long time ago, when the master himself was young, he left his home, his wife, and children in search of truth. He went to live in a dense forest, not far from a small village. He would spend his days meditating and sometimes visited the village where people would feed him. The villagers were happy with his presence, often seeking guidance from him. Out of respect, they built him a small hut. The monk had only 2 pairs of clothes. But soon, a problem arose. Mice started entering the hut and chewing up his clothes. This became a real difficulty. When he shared this with the villagers, they advised, "Keep a cat, it will drive the mice away." The monk found this reasonable, and the villagers gave him a cat. As expected, the cat chased away the mice. But soon a new problem appeared. The cat needed to be fed. The monk had to go to the village multiple times a day to ask for milk. He told the villagers about this new problem, and they suggested, "Why do you keep coming every day? Take a cow. You will have milk for both yourself and the cat. We will gift you a good cow." The monk agreed, and soon he was keeping a cow. But then he realized a cow needs daily fodder and constant care. Since most of his time was meant for meditation, this became difficult. Once again, he turned to the villagers. They replied, "It isn't right for a monk to keep asking for fodder every day. You should have some help. There is a widow in our village. Her husband has died, and she has no family. If we ask her, she will gladly serve you. She can take care of your cat, cow, and hut. We will also clear some land by your hut so she can grow vegetables and fodder." The monk accepted. The widow came each morning, tended the cow, fed the cat, cleaned the hut, cooked food, and worked in the field. She did everything diligently, returning home in the evening. Sometimes the monk helped her. Gradually, they began to spend more and more time together. She was young and beautiful. As time passed, their bond deepened, and eventually, the monk married her. Later, they had a child. The very monk who once spent all day in meditation was now toiling in the fields to feed his family. One day, exhausted after hard labor, he sat down and thought, "What has become of me? I had left behind family and worldly life in search of truth. Yet here I am, back in the same life I abandoned. And it all happened so silently, so gradually, that I didn't even realize it." The birth of his child shook him awake. He realized that everything had started with a cat. Finishing the story, The old monk looked at the young successor and said, "My friend, when the master told you never to let a cat into your life, he wasn't talking about a real cat. He meant, never allow even the smallest indulgence or comfort to creep into your mind, because once you allow it, it will slowly take over your life without you realizing it." If we look at life honestly, we'll see that we often let our mind do things we know are not right, but we convince ourselves saying, "Just this once. It won't become a habit. It's only a small thing." But that's exactly the moment where downfall begins. As soon as you give your mind a little freedom, it demands more and more until you are trapped in its web. That's how addictions, bad habits, and mental slavery begin. Take the example of pornography. Many young people watch it just once out of curiosity, never realizing they might become its slaves. Slowly, it becomes a deep habit. The same is true with junk food. We know it is harmful, yet we eat it saying, "Just this once." Over time, it destroys health, energy, and life. Friends, our mind is extremely powerful. It can be our best friend or our worst enemy. If it is under your control, it can take you wherever you wish to go. But if it is uncontrolled, it will drag you to places you never wanted to be. An unrestrained mind is like a speeding car without a steering wheel, or a train running without tracks. It has speed, but no direction, and that is the most dangerous thing of all. So you must learn to control your mind, to guide it, to keep it under discipline. Otherwise, it will dominate your entire life. And remember, even that great master, when he allowed his mind a tiny liberty, was slowly drawn back into the very world he had left behind. That is why you must never let the cat of mental indulgence into your life. For once it enters, it will quietly take over everything, and you won't even notice until it's too late.